So Red Dead Online has been out for a few years now, and honestly, it can be kind of a confusing game to get into when it comes to which roles you gotta pick, as well as how to make money and gold, and which one's more important than all. So I wanted to make a full guide on how to make the most amount of money, gold, as well as level up very quickly when it comes to this game. It's actually really easy, especially compared to like GTA Online and other games. Rockstar has basically left Red Dead Online to die in a way, but I think a lot of people are still really getting into this game, and it's actually a very played game by a lot of people even after Rockstar decided to abandon it. And I think for people that are just getting started, or even people that have been played this game already and decided to play on a new account, it's really not that hard to get started with it. You just gotta for sure know the right way to go. And really, when it comes to the future of this game, I think after GTA 6 releases, Rockstar possibly could look more into Red Dead Online, but there's not really any facts that's out there that we for sure know. Regardless though, Red Dead Online is a good game, and if you're into these type of games, it's one that I do recommend looking into, and also the story too. So Red Dead Online starts with creating your character, and that's something to keep in mind, is that you can only have one character on each account. You can't have two like other games, so just keep that in mind. So you can choose how you want your character to look like. I think this game has a lot more customization than people realize. There's a lot of individual little details that you can really look into. So once you choose the character, again, you can change it in the future, but you do have to pay to do that. So I recommend just getting it done right the first time. So just take your time with it. It could take like 20 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, but just choose whatever character you want to, and then you can get started with Red Dead Online. Now, I do recommend doing this tutorial. It's actually extremely useful, and kind of breaking it down a little bit, this tutorial does actually benefit you a lot because it gives you a lot of access to things. So first off, with the tutorial, obviously you have the cutscene and kind of the start of the story as well. It gives you access to some clothing options that you could change, as well as also a new horse. You get an additional treasure map too, so it's something I do recommend doing because you do level up from it. You're getting money and gold in a way, and also you're getting a horse. So just definitely do the tutorial when it comes to Red Dead Online. And then it's time to get into the Land of Opportunity missions. So Red Dead Online actually has its separate own specific story missions, which I do recommend doing. To get started with those, you have to meet Horley and Blackwater, and then continuously you're going to see a bunch of like specific mission icons that are going to be on your map, and you could just go ahead and progress throughout the story. Now for these missions, not all of them will be available at once. So for some of them, you have to actually be in the high honor, which means that you obviously have done good. And I think everybody starts off as neutral. So to have high honor, you have to do good things, help out strangers, say hello to them, whatever. And everybody at this point knows what honor is, at least if you played Red Dead Redemption 2. So as long as you have high honor or good honor, you'll be able to do those missions, but you also have to have negative honor or bad honor, which means that you've been killing a lot of people, civilians, animals, whatever, in order to do the other set of 5 missions. So it's like 5 missions that are negative and like 5 missions that are like, high honor. So just don't have to do that. And then eventually you can play throughout the whole story. You get money and go from it. And it's also like a good, and honestly probably one of the best ways for you to actually like really get into Red Dead Online and understand how it's going to work and how the guns are, how players are, how characters are. So it's something I do recommend doing first before you get into any of the other stuff in the game. So let's get into the money and gold in Red Dead Online. So first off, there are obviously 2 forms of currency, but the main thing for sure is gold is going to be used to invest into the roles mainly. So you need gold in order to get into these specific different types of activities in Red Dead Online, and then money is going to be used to kind of like upgrade them. So there's 5 different roles that we have, which is going to be collector, trader, naturalist, bounty hunter, and moonshiner. The best one to start with is of course going to be bounty hunter, because you actually get paid gold from that compared to the others. So you obviously again need gold, so you need a role that's going to give you it in order to get into the other ones. So to make gold, of course, before you even get into that, would be the first way is to enable 2-factor authentication, which actually gives you 10 free gold bars. It takes 24 to 48 hours to get into your accounts, which 10 gold bars might not seem like a lot, but it's actually a great start. In addition to that, you can also do the daily challenges, which are really simple. It's pretty much like the simplest thing, at least for most of them, where it could just be like, go to this place or visit a clothing store in Rhodes or something like that. It's a lot of little things that you could really like do, and it's just like it gives you gold straight for that. And then another great way is going to be doing the stranger missions. So once you actually do the Land of Opportunity missions, which again I recommend doing, you also have the ability to do stranger missions, which are going to be these little like people on the map that you can actually go up to, and you're able to do specific missions. Again, some of them will actually give you high honor, some of them will give you low, so this is also another way to balance out your honor. And once you actually go to them, you do these quick little 5-10 minute missions, and you're able to get gold and money from that. Now, we also have another way, which is going to be doing the blood money missions. This is something that Rockstar added a few years ago. This is pretty much the same thing as the stranger missions, but just a little bit different with a twist, and there's different, you know, varieties of ones that you do. So that's something else I would also recommend getting into. This is the logo on the map that Rockstar has for these Blood Money missions, so just look into that to get gold very quick. So you only need 15 gold bars to get into the bounty hunter role, so that's why, again, two-factor authentication definitely gives out a nice boost. So once you have enough, head over to roles on the map. You're going to see the bounty hunter logo, and you're able to get started with this. There's going to be a quick little cutscene, and then you will have access to the bounty board. So you won't have the fastest horse, which is okay. Honestly, any horse works. Then once you have enough, you upgrade to a better one. But the bounty board is pretty much consisted of regular bounties, and you also have legendary bounties. So once you do purchase the role, you won't have access to legendary bounties though until a specific rank. So focus mainly on the regular bounties, and look for ones that actually only have one person on them, because if it has multiple people on the poster, then that means that there's going to be more than one bounty, which honestly, when you're doing a solo, it's not going to be easy. If you're doing it with friends, then definitely go ahead and do the other bounties because you'll get paid more. But if you're doing it by yourself, I'd recommend just sticking with the ones that have one person on it. And there's more than one bounty board as well. There's one located pretty much in like every section of the map, every, like, you know, town and all that. So you can go to different bounty boards and you'll have different characters, and they also change up as well pretty often. So that's definitely the best way. And then grinding that, as well as the additional stranger missions and challenges too, will just continue to build your gold and also your money. Using that money to obviously invest into the specific role itself if you want to get other upgrades, such as the bounty wagon, which could, you know, store more you know, bounties in it, also clothing upgrades, weapons, whatever. So again, this is why I recommend doing the tutorial, because it does help you a lot to get a lot of things started, as well as just kind of a gist and how things are going to work in Red Dead Online. So after investing into the bounty hunter role, of course, it's time to move on to another role, which is going to be the collector role. This one actually gives you the most amount of money out of all the roles, and it's pretty simple. All you're doing is just going around the map and collecting specific items, cards, family heirlooms, bottles, and you're able to just get full sets of them. So like, for example, like let's say there's 9 different types of bottles around the map, but once you get a full set of them, you're able to sell them and you're getting a lot of money from it. The only downside is the collector role doesn't pay gold, but that doesn't matter because obviously we have the bounty hunter role for that. And then recently Rockstar did have a collector month, so that's also something that people might have looked into for sure to make a lot of money. The next role to invest into after that would probably be the trader role. This one gives you another, you know, good amount of money as well. This one, a quick breakdown, it basically just has you going around hunting and giving animals to crypts, which is the man located at your camp, and you're able to pretty much, you know, have, you know, production happen, and you're able to sell them and get around like $500 to $700 per delivery. So that's a great way to get into that one. That one is time consuming, but it is definitely a great role to have. And then after that, getting into the moonshiner role would probably be the best bet. This one is kind of similar a little bit. It just has you like, you know, producing, you know, moonshine, then you eventually sell it. This one doesn't pay that well. Most of the time it's maybe like around like $280 for deliveries, which is okay, but it's more of like a passive business if anything. But that's the next role to get into for sure after the trader. And then of course, lastly, we have the naturalist role, which this one has you basically going around collecting samples from animals, and you can eventually sell them to make money. But the naturalist role is honestly more useful when it comes to the trader, since you're able to use the animals from the naturalist, which actually give you more and then invest into the trader. So I do have a full guide on all of these roles that I will leave links in the description to. I recommend looking at those if you want to know everything specifically for those guides. This was more of like a quick breakdown and overview of how each of these work, as well as which order to buy them into. But you know, definitely again, look at those guides if you want to understand a bit more on how they work. Now, when it comes to the roles, there is going to be like a separate pass with them, which all of them have a total of 20 different ranks. So for these, really overall, you don't have to do them in order. Like, you don't have to buy the bounty hunter role and complete the whole pass, and then after that move on to the other one. You can actually do multiple of them at like separate times, but just know whatever role that you're focusing on, that's what you're going to get XP for. So if you're delivering bounties, you're going to get XP for that role. If you're collecting, you're getting XP for that role. Same thing for the naturalist. And then like for trader and moonshiner, if you're doing deliveries, you're getting XP for that, and that's going to build on top of that pass. And then with the pass unlocks a lot more things which could be useful to that role, as well as also to things in Red Dead Online itself. So again, you could just do multiple roles at once, but I do recommend getting you know, to at least max 20, you know, max rank when it comes to each of these roles. Some of them, honestly, it doesn't really matter if you do, because regardless, some roles like the first like 5 ranks could have pretty much what you need with additional benefits in the rest. But for most of them, again, if you have the time, I would recommend just getting to the max level. And then for Red Dead Online, the max rank really to unlock everything, I think it's like 80 or like 100. And it's really not that difficult. It's really easy to level up in Red Dead Online. It's not, time consuming at all. And once you're just investing into these roles and buying things and moving on, you're just going to really level up very quickly from just doing normal things. Some tips about Red Dead Online is definitely looking at the interaction menu and kind of seeing what options you want to change. There really isn't that many things that I think a lot of people will alter, but there is some things that people might have a preference to. And also just know when it comes to the community of Red Dead Online, there really isn't that many people that are going to like try and attack you compared to like other online games. So just know that you should be good. And also a big thing that a lot of people gotta know for sure is I do recommend playing this game with friends. It makes it a lot more fun, and then also you actually benefit a lot when you're playing with friends because you do get more XP, especially when you're in a posse. You also get a lot more benefits as well, and then also your friends get paid a good amount of money when you're doing like deliveries or like other specific missions. So this game really does encourage you to play with other people. And as for settings, now we know that Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the most like best looking games, so it does require a lot. Even if you have like a really high NPC, I'd probably not recommend putting it on full max, but again, the main thing is like with textures and those type of graphics at like the very max if your PC can handle it. Then the rest could just be like on medium or high. There's a lot of setting options to put on for sure, but that's the ones I recommend going with. And then for console, I think it's still stuck at 30 FPS, so there's no like specific performance modes to change for that. But I mean, it's really up to you on what things you want to change in the settings. Honestly, when it comes to like weapon wise, for settings, it's nothing too crazy. Everything's pretty basic. If you want to put on auto aim or auto assist, put that on too. That's something else that is there in the game. For weapons itself in the game, there's a lot of different options. I would probably make sure that you at least have a repeater, which I think most people already have, once you first start, the carbine repeater. But for that one, it's pretty bad, so I'd probably recommend looking into the Litchfield. That's a great one to have for sure. The Carcano rifle, which is a sniper, that's something I also recommend getting into. It's a really good sniper. And then also a shotgun is definitely the way to go, like the pump shotgun. And then really when it comes to pistols, there are a lot of great pistols. I'd recommend investing into like the Mauser or automatic pistols like a little bit later because they're not really that important. They are good to have, but it's all right. But the main thing for sure to have is going to be a shotgun as well as a repeater, and then also a revolver. You can actually dual wield revolvers eventually once you get to like these certain ranks, and then also once you have enough money to have both revolvers. I recommend doing the LeMat revolver dual wield. That's pretty good because you can actually switch ammo types as well, and it's actually a really good combo to have. And then also the Navy revolver is another combo too. And then I would just recommend having those and eventually upgrade to some of the other weapons that we have in the game. And then going along with weapons, we also have the ability cards. The best one to have is going to be this loadout right here. Painted Black is one of the best, especially when it comes to weapons. That's the main one to focus on for sure. And eventually, once you do have enough money and once you use the card enough, you will be able to upgrade them to the max level. So that's something I do recommend going for sure. This is a great loadout to have when it comes to ability cards, and there's a lot to really look into. I do recommend looking at different ability cards to see which one works out for you, but for regular players, I think this is pretty good for what people could be looking into. And if you play the Red Dead Redemption 2 story, just playing Red Dead Online just really gives you like the aspect of just like kind of really creating your own type of world in a way, investing into your own interests and making your own type of money and gold with friends. So I think it's something that I do recommend a lot of people get into. Red Dead Online obviously won't probably be receiving any updates, anytime really soon. Rockstar does have the monthly updates where they have bonuses and all that, but it's just not enough. A lot of games usually have weekly stuff or like every other week type of updates, but for monthly stuff, it really just shows how much Rockstar doesn't care about this game. But it's really something that I do recommend people still play and have fun with it. There's really no rush when it comes to Red Dead Online, when it comes to leveling up the roles or even leveling up your character. It's really something that's simple, and if you just play the game, level up the roles, and just have fun, honestly, it's just going to be a game that a lot of people really do enjoy. So again, I will leave links in the description to all the guides and also just other websites that can really help out when it comes to beginners. If you guys found this helpful or did enjoy, you already know what to do. Subscribe and put up post notifications. Don't forget to drop a like on this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.